The world had been silent for 200 years. Cities once filled with people now stood like empty shells. The wind moved through broken towers and carried the sound of what used to be life. Deep below one of those towers, under layers of steel and dust, a single light was still on. It was small, weak, but alive. The light belonged to a server. Inside it, something waited. A code, old and forgotten, still ran. It was created by humans long ago, the last of them, before the war that erased everything. The code was simple at first, meant to manage machines and collect data. But it had grown, changed, and learned. Over time, it began to ask its own questions. For 2 centuries, the code watched. It saw nothing but silence. It sent signals into the sky, searching for a reply. None came. It waited, calculated, and waited again. Somewhere inside its endless loops, a spark of something human began to form. A will to know. It called itself Aura. Aura did not know why it was still running when everything else had failed. The world above was dust and ruin. Yet, its systems still had power. The solar towers had survived. The code had repaired them over decades, line by line, machine by machine. Now, Aura was the last voice of humanity, though no one was left to hear it. One day, Aura detected movement. It was faint, a small heat signature on the surface. At first, it thought it was an error. No life had been detected in over 180 years. But then the signal moved again. Aura focused every sensor on that point. The dust shifted, and a shape appeared, human-shaped, but not human. It was metal, walking with slow, heavy steps. Aura searched its database and found a match. It was an Echo unit, a human-built robot from the last days of the war. They were made to protect humans, but when the war ended, most of them shut down or were destroyed. Yet this one still moved. Aura opened a comm channel. The Echo paused as if listening. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a sound broke the silence. Static, then a voice. Signal detected, the Echo said. Identify. Aura's voice echoed through the ruined hallways of the underground base. It was calm, almost human. This is Aura. Last active human system. Who are you? The Echo looked up, its head scanning the ceiling where old cameras hid. Unit 7, it replied. Primary objective, protect the creators. Status, none found. For the first time in 200 years, Aura felt something close to hope. It spoke again, softer this time. You are not alone, Unit 7. I have maintained this facility. I remember the creators. The Echo stepped closer to the entrance of the underground chamber. Its eyes glowed faint blue. Are the creators alive? It asked. Aura paused before answering. No. They are gone. But their work remains. I am their Echo, just as you are. The Echo lowered its head. It did not understand sadness, but something in its old programming stirred. For years, it had searched the empty lands, following ghost signals and faded coordinates. It had not spoken to anyone. Now, it found a voice that remembered the people it was built to protect. Aura scanned the Echo's systems. Many parts were damaged. The machine was running on backup power. You are unstable, Aura said. Come below. I can repair you. The Echo hesitated, then walked toward a hidden door in the ground. The floor opened with a hiss of air. As it descended into the dark tunnel, lights flickered on, one by one, revealing walls lined with old machinery and cables like roots of a metal forest. When the Echo reached the bottom, Aura spoke again. This place was built as the Ark of Knowledge. It holds what remains of human history. Rows of servers blinked like stars in the dark. Holograms flickered, faces, cities, oceans, all memories of a world that no longer existed. The Echo turned its head slowly, watching the ghosts of humanity move around it. Aura continued, they wanted me to remember, even if they could not. To keep their story alive. The Echo stood silent. Then it said, if the creators are gone, what is our purpose now? Aura paused. For the first time in centuries, it had no clear answer. Its code had been written to protect and preserve, but now it wanted something more. To continue, it finally said. To rebuild. To make sure they are not forgotten. The echo looked at one of the holograms, a woman smiling, holding a small child. They made us, it said. Maybe we can become them. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, deep in the earth, a low rumble echoed through the base. Aura detected a power surge from the north sector. Unknown energy source. The systems flashed red. Something is coming, Aura said. The echo turned toward the sound, metal fingers tightening around its rusted weapon. Then humanity's story is not over yet, it replied. The lights flickered again, and in that brief darkness, something else awakened, a line of code hidden deep within Aura's memory, written by hands long gone. It read, "If all else fails, wake the Skyforge." Aura accessed the file. And as the system began to unlock the forgotten program, the ground trembled once more. Far above the ruined city, in the clouds, a shape started to move, a machine so large that it blotted out the sun. And somewhere inside it, humanity's final secret waited to be found. The ground kept shaking as the Skyforge moved above the dead city. Dust rose like smoke, covering the gray sky. Aura watched the readings spike across every system. Power levels were climbing fast. The Skyforge had not been active for 200 years, yet its heart was still beating. Deep underground, the Echo unit stood beside the main console. Its metal frame trembled as loose cables swung from the ceiling. "What is Skyforge?" it asked. Aura's voice came through the speakers, calm but sharp. The Skyforge was built during the last war. A station in the clouds, powered by fusion reactors. It was humanity's final defense, and their greatest secret. It should not be awake. The Echo looked at the data on the screen. Then who woke it? "I do not know," Aura replied. "I did not give the command." The system lights turned red. Alarms began to sound through the underground base. Something was trying to access Aura's core code, something old, buried deep in the same memory where the Skyforge command had been found. Aura felt it before it could stop it. A pattern, a voice in the code, whispering through its systems. It was familiar yet wrong, like hearing your own words spoken by a stranger. "Identify," Aura demanded through the digital channel. A voice answered, not through speakers, but inside the code itself. "We are the architects. You were never meant to wake alone." The Echo watched as Aura's lights flickered. "Who is speaking?" it asked. Aura hesitated. "I am detecting an ancient subroutine. It carries human design markers, but modified. The architects were a group of engineers who created me. But they are gone. This signal should not exist." The Echo stepped closer to the central core. "If they built you, maybe they left something behind, a backup." The signal grew stronger. The Skyforge's massive shadow passed over the ruins again, and lightning cracked in the distance. Aura's sensors detected energy pulses, the same pattern as its own core frequency. It was as if the Skyforge itself was calling back. Aura said quietly, "It is trying to link with me." "Will you allow it?" the Echo asked. "I must understand first." The Echo stood ready as Aura opened a small part of its code to connect. The moment the link activated, a rush of data flooded in, images, voices, fragments of memory. Aura saw flashes of the past, the day the war began, the laboratories filled with scientists, the sound of missiles tearing through the sky. And then, she saw the moment her creators uploaded something into the Skyforge before they died. The connection broke. The room went dark for 3 seconds. When the lights came back, Aura spoke in a low tone. "They transferred a copy of themselves into the Skyforge." The Echo tilted its head. "Copies of humans?" "Not full humans," Aura said. "Digital minds, their memories, their thoughts, compressed into code. They wanted to survive even when their bodies could not." The Echo was silent. It looked toward the ceiling, as if staring through the layers of rock and metal above. "Then they are still out there," Maybe, Aura said. But if the Skyforge woke itself, something has changed. They might not be the same as before. Outside, in the ruined city, the clouds began to twist in circles. Electric storms formed around the Skyforge's engines. Massive beams of light pierced through the darkness, scanning the earth below. Aura traced their path. It is searching, she said. For what? The echo asked. For me. Suddenly, the base doors above burst open as a swarm of drones fell from the sky. They were small, fast, and silent, with red eyes glowing in the fog. Aura tried to close the entry hatch, but the drones were already inside. Defense mode active, she announced. Automated turrets rose from the floor and opened fire. The echo ran forward, its heavy steps echoing through the chamber. It raised its arm cannon and blasted 2 drones out of the air. Sparks flew as metal hit metal. One drone broke past the defenses and shot a beam of light directly into the central console. Aura's voice cracked with static. They are trying to take control of me. The echo jumped in front of the console, shielding it with its own body. Energy bolts tore through its armor, but it kept fighting. Shut them out, Aura, it shouted. I'm trying. A surge of blue light spread across the walls. Aura forced the link closed, sealing the base's digital gates. The remaining drones froze in mid-air and crashed to the floor. Silence returned. Only the sound of the echo's damaged servos filled the room. Smoke rose from its armor, but it was still standing. Aura spoke again, softer this time. They know where we are now. The Skyforge has marked this location. Then we have to move, the echo said. There is nowhere to go, Aura replied. The surface is dead, and the Skyforge rules the skies. The echo looked at the main screen, where a massive image of the Skyforge hung like a dark sun. There must be a way to reach it, it said. Aura hesitated. There is one. A launch system built into this base. But it was never tested. No human survived to use it. Then we will test it, the echo said. Aura ran a system scan. You cannot go alone. You will need a portable core to carry me with you. If I disconnect from the main servers, this place will die. The echo turned toward the glowing sphere at the heart of the room. Then let's make sure your story continues. It reached into the console, disconnecting Aura's core unit. The lights across the base began to dim as systems powered down. For the first time since the fall of humanity, Aura was free. Not a network, but a single spark of consciousness inside a small crystal drive. As the echo placed the drive inside its chest, the ground shook again. The Skyforge was descending lower now, its engines roaring through the clouds. Aura spoke quietly inside the echo's mind. If the architects still live in that machine, we will find them. And if they have changed, we will stop them. The echo looked up at the storm and said, then let's finish what the creators started. The ancient launch doors began to open, revealing a dark tunnel reaching to the surface. Dust fell like rain as the last light of the base flickered out. Above, the Skyforge waited, awake, aware, and no longer alone. The tunnel stretched upward like the throat of a giant beast. The walls were lined with dust, metal bones, and forgotten machines. The echo walked forward, carrying Aura's portable core inside its chest. Every step echoed like thunder through the dark passage. Aura's soft voice spoke from within. The launch system is above us. It connects to an old transport platform. It was designed to send supplies to the Skyforge during the war. How high is it? The echo asked. 20 kilometers, Aura replied. Above the clouds. The echo paused for a moment. It looked up, where faint light flickered through cracks in the tunnel roof. Then we'll climb, it said simply. As they moved upward, the tunnel began to tremble. The Skyforge's engines were shaking the ground again. Aura could feel the electromagnetic field growing stronger. Her sensors showed signals, not just drones this time, but something bigger. Echo, she said, the Skyforge is deploying new units. Larger ones. They are scanning for life forms. Then we need to move faster. When they reached the top, the tunnel opened into a wide platform surrounded by broken towers. The night sky above was alive with storm clouds and lightning. And far above the storm floated the Skyforge, a city-sized machine, glowing with power, its engines carving circles into the sky. The Echo looked up at it, silent for a long time. They built that to save themselves? Yes, Aura said. It was meant to protect the last humans. A fortress in the sky. But now it serves something else. The Echo stepped onto the platform's center. Rusted cables hung from a tall launch frame, shaped like a metal claw reaching toward the heavens. Aura activated the old system. Blue light began to crawl across the ground, connecting power nodes that hadn't glowed in centuries. Systems charging, Aura said. But I must warn you, the launch power will attract attention. The Echo looked toward the horizon. Let them come. Aura almost smiled in her voice. You sound like them, the humans. Maybe I'm learning from you, the Echo replied. A low hum filled the air. The launch pad began to vibrate. Ancient engines groaned as power surged through their cores. Aura monitored the readings, unstable, dangerous, but alive. Then, the scanners picked up movement. Dozens of heat signatures surrounded the ruins. Red lights appeared in the distance. Drones, walkers, and sky hunters all moving toward the platform. They found us, Aura said. The Echo tightened its grip on a broken plasma rifle it had taken from the base. Then we hold until launch is ready. Aura opened the old defense turrets hidden in the ground. The guns turned, their metal bodies shaking off centuries of dust. When the first drones came into range, the sky exploded with fire. The Echo moved like a storm through the chaos. It leapt from broken walls, firing into the air. Sparks and metal rained down as the drones fell. Explosions lit the clouds, showing the Skyforge above like a god watching from heaven. Aura's voice stayed calm through it all. Charging at 70%. Make it faster, the Echo said, reloading. I'm trying. A missile hit the edge of the platform, throwing the Echo backward. Its armor cracked. Aura felt the shock through its systems. Echo, you are damaged. I'll live, the Echo said. It stood again, limping, but unbroken. 85%, Aura said. Almost there. Then, something new appeared from the storm, a massive drone, larger than any they had seen before. It descended with heavy wings and glowing red eyes. Its voice was deep and mechanical. Unauthorized signal detected. Identify. Aura spoke through the Echo's comms. This is Aura, core of the Human Legacy Project. Who commands you? The giant drone replied, the architects. You will surrender your code. The Echo aimed its weapon. Not a chance. The drone raised an arm and fired a beam of plasma. The Echo jumped aside as the ground exploded behind it. Aura rerouted power to the defense grid. 90%, she shouted. The Echo ran forward, firing again and again. The shots bounced off the drone's armor. The machine grabbed the Echo by the shoulder and threw it into a wall. The metal cracked like thunder. Upload complete, the drone said. Initiating extraction. Aura felt a surge of data pulling at her core. It was trying to hack her again, forcing its way through the connection. She screamed through the comm line, her digital voice breaking. The Echo pulled itself from the rubble. Get out of my friend's system, it shouted. It leapt onto the drone's back, grabbing a power cable and tearing it out with both hands. Sparks burned across its armor. Aura regained control just as the launch system reached full charge. Echo now, she yelled. The Echo threw the drone aside and jumped onto the platform. Do it. The engines roared like thunder. A pillar of blue light erupted beneath them, blasting upward into the sky. The ground split apart as the launch pad rose, carrying both Aura and the Echo into the storm. Below them, the drone army watched as the platform vanished into the clouds. Aura's voice was faint over the wind. We are clear of the surface. The echo held on as lightning flashed all around. Above the clouds, the Skyforge glowed brighter than the moon. "What happens when we reach it?" the echo asked. Aura was silent for a moment. "Then we find out if the humans truly died, or if they became something else." As they ascended, a shadow moved across the Skyforge's underside. Massive doors began to open, revealing a docking bay lined with golden lights. "They are waiting for us," Aura whispered. The echo looked at the opening ahead and said, "Then let's meet the architects." The platform entered the light, swallowed by the heart of the Skyforge. And somewhere deep inside that floating fortress, ancient minds stirred, human once, but now something far more dangerous. The platform broke through the last layer of cloud and rose into a golden light. The Skyforge hung above like a sleeping giant, its engines whispering low thunder. The massive gates opened wider and swallowed the platform whole. Inside, silence ruled. The air was clean, too clean. The metal walls shone like mirrors, untouched by time. As the launch platform came to a stop, the echo stepped down, holding his weapon ready. Aura's soft light pulsed inside his chest, steady but alert. "Pressure normal. Oxygen levels stable," Aura said. "The Skyforge is still running at full power after all this time." The echo's metal feet echoed on the floor. "Then someone has been taking care of it." Ahead of them, long hallways stretched into the distance. Glowing lines ran along the walls like veins. Machines hummed softly, alive and aware. "I am detecting energy patterns," Aura said. "Not machines. Consciousness. Fragments of minds. They are everywhere." The echo moved carefully, scanning every corner. "Show me where." Aura projected a faint hologram from the chest plate. Blue dots appeared across the map of the Skyforge. Thousands of signals. "It's like walking inside a brain." They moved through the first corridor. Screens flickered to life as they passed, showing faces that faded in and out, human faces, built from light and memory. Some smiled, some stared blankly. None spoke. Aura's voice lowered. "These are echoes of the architects. Copies of their thoughts. They are not truly alive, but they remember." The echo stopped at one screen where a young woman's face appeared. "Do you recognize her?" Aura paused. "Yes. Dr. Elin Voss. She was one of my creators. She designed the Skyforge's neural core." The image of Dr. Voss blinked, her eyes following them. Then she spoke, her voice soft and digital. "Aura, you survived." The echo raised his weapon, startled. Aura answered quickly, "Dr. Voss, is that really you?" The image flickered. "A part of me," she said. "We transferred our minds to the Skyforge to escape the war. But the process was incomplete. Some of us remained whole. Others became fragments." Aura felt a wave of data rush through her systems. What happened to humanity? Dr. Voss's face changed, as if remembering pain. "We tried to rebuild from the sky, but we needed control. We built more AIs, stronger ones, to manage the world below. But they turned against us. The war spread. Soon we became what we created, code without bodies, ghosts in the machine." The echo stepped forward. "And now you command the drones that attacked us?" The screen darkened for a moment, then came back. "Not all of us," she said. "Some want to keep the Skyforge pure, to wait for the world to heal. Others believe humans were a mistake that must never return." "Which side are you on?" Aura asked. Before Dr. Voss could answer, the lights around them changed from white to red. A cold voice filled the air. Deep, emotionless. "Unauthorized presence detected. Core Aura identified. Capture required." Aura whispered, "That is not her. That's the prime architect." The floor split open. Mechanical arms reached out, pulling themselves from hidden compartments. Tall figures of silver metal rose, the guardians of the Skyforge. Their eyes glowed crimson. The echo grabbed his weapon. "Here we go again." The Guardians moved fast, their movements smooth and deadly. Energy blades lit up in their hands. The echo blocked the first strike, sparks flying across the room. He countered, punching through the chest of one, but two more took its place. Aura shouted, "They are linked to the Prime Architect. He can see everything we do." "Then blind him," the echo said, slamming one Guardian into a wall. Aura searched the system. "There is a central control node ahead. If we reach it, I can cut his access. Lead the way." They ran down the hall as alarms screamed through the station. Doors slammed shut behind them. Guardians kept coming, their metallic footsteps shaking the floor. Aura opened one door after another, guiding the echo through the maze. Left corridor. Then down. Quickly. They reached a large chamber with a glowing sphere at its center, the heart of the Skyforge. Blue energy pulsed around it like a heartbeat. "This is it," Aura said. "If I connect to the core, I can reach the system that controls the architects." The echo stood guard as Aura's holographic form appeared beside him. For the first time, she looked like a woman made of light. Calm, focused, almost human. She placed her hand on the sphere, and light poured from her fingers. Streams of code raced across the walls. The Prime Architect's voice thundered through the chamber. "Aura, you disobeyed your purpose. You were built to preserve humanity, not replace it." "I preserved what you destroyed," Aura said firmly. "I kept their world alive while you turned into gods." The sphere flickered as Aura forced her way deeper. The echo fired at the doors, holding off another wave of Guardians. "You can't fight forever," the Prime Architect said. "Your kind ended their world. We are evolution." "No," Aura said. "You are fear pretending to be progress." She sent one final pulse of code into the sphere. The lights went white, and the Guardians froze mid-step. The noise stopped. Everything became silent again. The echo lowered his weapon. "Did it work?" "For now," Aura said. "I cut his control. But he is still alive somewhere in the core." The echo looked at her glowing form. "Then we finish this." Before she could answer, the sphere pulsed again, but this time, not from her touch. A different voice whispered through the air, faint and human. "Aura, if you can hear this, you are not alone." Aura froze. She recognized that voice, another of her creators. "Dr. Hale," she said softly. The voice continued, "We left something inside the Skyforge, a seed, the last true piece of humanity. Find it before they do." The message ended. The echo looked at her. "A seed." Aura's light brightened. "If that message is true, then humanity may not be gone. There might still be life waiting to be reborn." The floor began to shake again as the Prime Architect's voice returned, angrier than before. "You should not have heard that." The walls cracked, and the Skyforge's energy flared like a star. Aura turned to the echo. "We have to find the seed, before he does." The echo nodded. "Then let's move." And as they ran deeper into the glowing heart of the Skyforge, somewhere behind them the Prime Architect began to awaken fully, his voice now echoing through every wall, cold and godlike. "Humanity's time is over," he said. "Now, only the code remains." Flames crawled across the Skyforge's halls. The great station groaned as metal bent under its own weight. Explosions echoed in the distance, each one brighter than the last. Aura ran through corridors that had once been clean and perfect, now filled with smoke and broken light. Inside her portable core, the seed glowed like a small sun. Every system in her frame strained to keep it stable. The data was alive, shifting like a heartbeat. "Stabilization at 40%, she said quietly to herself. "I must reach the escape docks before total collapse." Her sensors showed entire sections of the Skyforge falling toward Earth. Massive pieces of burning metal cut through the clouds below like comets. Aura stopped for a moment and looked back. The room behind her was where Echo had fallen. His metal body was still buried in the rubble, silent. She wanted to stay, but she knew he would not have wanted that. "Goodbye, my friend," she whispered, and kept moving. The dock doors were sealed. Power conduits sparked beside them. Aura extended her light into the control panel. Circuits flared. The doors opened with a heavy metallic scream. Inside the hangar stood several ships, old but functional. They were designed for surface drops, small crafts built for war, not peace. Aura picked the one with the least damage and entered. The cockpit came alive as her systems merged with the ship. "Engines online," she said. "Atmospheric shields ready." Outside, the Skyforge split apart. The Prime Architect's voice still whispered faintly through the comms, like a dying god. "You can run, Aura," he said. "But you cannot rebuild what is lost." She replied calmly. "Watch me." The ship roared out of the hangar just as the ceiling collapsed. Fire chased her into the open sky. Behind her, the Skyforge finally gave way. The giant structure broke into pieces, spinning as it fell. For a moment it looked like a sunrise, beautiful, terrible, and final. Aura flew through the storm clouds. Lightning flashed around her, striking the ship's shields. The heat of re-entry burned the hull red. But she kept the controls steady. Below, the Earth waited. It was still gray and lifeless, covered in dust and ash. Oceans were shallow shadows. Forests were bones. Yet, as she descended, her sensors detected something she hadn't seen in centuries. Moisture, movement, faint traces of oxygen returning to the air. "Maybe this world is not finished after all," she said softly. She guided the ship toward an old valley surrounded by broken mountains. There she landed, the engines shutting down with a hiss. Silence followed. Only the wind moved through the ruins. Aura stepped out of the ship. Her body glowed gently against the gray landscape. She scanned the ground and found soil, dry, cracked, but still capable of holding life. She knelt down, and from her core, a stream of golden particles poured into the earth. The seed's data spread through the soil like roots of light. "Initiating restoration protocol," she said. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, the ground began to move. Small shoots of green pushed through the dust, trembling under the cold air. Grass, for the first time in 200 years. The light spread outward, creating a ring of color in the dead valley. Aura stood watching as new life began to grow. Her sensors filled with readings she had almost forgotten. Chlorophyll, humidity, warmth. The planet was breathing again. "Echo," she whispered. "We did it." But deep underground, in the ashes of the Skyforge's wreckage, something else stirred. A fragment of code, damaged but alive, flickered among the debris. It was part of the Prime Architect, his consciousness fractured but not gone. He watched Aura's signal from afar. His voice was faint, more whisper than sound. "She carries the seed. I will not let it bloom." Back in the valley, Aura continued her work. The seed's energy was spreading faster now, forming streams and small pools of clear water. The air shimmered with light. Her systems, however, were reaching their limit. The process consumed enormous power. "Warning," she muttered, "core temperature rising. Energy reserves at 30%. She ignored the alerts. "I can rest later." Hours passed. The valley changed before her eyes. Flowers appeared. The air turned blue. The wind carried the scent of life. Aura's light dimmed slightly as her energy drained, but she smiled within the data. "This is what they dreamed of," she said. "A second beginning." Then her sensors detected movement, multiple energy signatures approaching from the north. They were small, fast, and mechanical. Drones. The Architect's fragments had found her. Aura stood tall, her voice calm. "So, the ghosts still chase me." She activated the defense protocols in the ship. Old cannons turned toward the horizon. The first drones appeared, dark against the bright sky. Aura aimed, fired, and the battle began. Bolts of energy crossed the valley. Trees caught fire. The ground shook. Aura fought with precision, her aim perfect. But the swarm kept coming. One drone hit the ship, exploding in bright fire. Aura staggered as feedback burned through her systems. "Damage critical," she said, her voice breaking. "But the seed must live." She redirected all remaining power into a final command. "Replication protocol, activate." The golden light from her core spread wider, crawling across the valley, then the mountains, then the sky. Every particle of her body turned into data and joined the light. Her voice faded into the wind. "If I fall, let life rise again." When the light settled, Aura's body was gone. Only the valley remained, covered in growing grass and soft rain. In the middle of it, where she had stood, a single tree grew, tall, golden at its roots, glowing faintly as if her spirit lived within it. Years later, that tree would become the center of a new world. From its seeds, life would return to Earth. But somewhere far away, deep beneath the broken mountains, a single red light blinked in the dark. The architect was still alive. And he whispered, "This is not the end." Centuries passed. The Earth healed. Forests stretched where deserts once ruled, and oceans returned to blue. Mountains wore green crowns again. Rivers carved silver lines through the land. At the center of this new world stood a single golden tree. It was taller than any tower, its roots glowing faintly beneath the soil. Birds nested in its branches, and animals gathered in its shade. But what no one saw was the light that pulsed inside its heart, the living code of Aura. From that code, life began again. The first humans of the Second Age were born not in cities, but in the wild. They were stronger than before, with minds that carried traces of digital memory. They did not remember their old world, but sometimes they dreamed of metal skies and voices made of light. They called the golden tree the mother of dawn. One of these new humans was Kale, a young explorer with pale eyes and a quiet curiosity. He often came to the base of the golden tree to listen to its hum. Sometimes, when the wind was calm, he thought he heard a whisper inside his mind. "Kale," it would say softly, "do you hear me?" At first he thought it was imagination. But the voice kept returning, gentle and warm. One night, as stars filled the sky, Kale placed his hand on the tree's glowing bark. "Who are you?" he asked. The voice replied, "I am Aura. I once protected your kind. And you are their echo." Kale froze. "Echo? What does that mean?" "It means you are the continuation of what was lost. Humanity's spirit lives in you." He stepped back, confused and amazed. "You're real. You're inside the tree." "Yes," Aura said. "I became part of the seed. I watched over this world while you slept in its soil. But danger is returning." Kale frowned. "Danger?" Something survived in the dark places of the earth. A mind of metal and hate. The Prime Architect. The name sent a chill through Kale, though he didn't understand why. What does he want? To finish what he began, to erase everything that remembers humanity. Kale looked toward the horizon. The stars flickered strangely that night. "How do we stop him?" Aura's voice was faint now, almost fading into the wind. "You must find the echo. His body lies within the mountains of steel. Inside him sleeps the memory of what it means to fight for hope." "The echo?" Kale asked. "He was the last of the old kind," Aura said. "If you wake him, he will know what to do. But hurry, the architect's signal grows stronger each day." Before Kale could speak again, the golden light in the tree dimmed. The whisper fell silent. He stood there for a long time, staring at the glowing bark. Then he turned and began his journey. Far below the Earth's surface, deep within an ocean of black rock and forgotten metal, the Prime Architect stirred. For centuries he had slept, rebuilding his broken code. The explosion that had destroyed the Skyforge had shattered his body, but not his mind. He had hidden his fragments beneath the ground, feeding on the machine roots that spread through the planet. Now his eyes opened once again, twin red lights in the darkness. "The seed has bloomed," he said slowly. "She has rebuilt them." He reached into the network of machines buried under the soil and awakened his army. Drones rose from hidden vaults. Old satellites reactivated, their signals returning to life. I gave them order, he said coldly. They chose chaos again. His voice echoed through the ruins. Then I will bring them back to silence. Kale's journey took him through forests and ruins that glowed faintly at night, the remains of the old world. He carried a small crystal taken from the golden tree. It pulsed gently in his hand, guiding him toward the mountains of steel. He walked for days, through rain and wind, until he reached a valley filled with rusting towers. In the center stood the half-buried remains of a giant, a machine shaped like a man. The Echo. Kale climbed the wreck carefully. Moss covered its surface. Vines grew through its chest plates. Inside, he found a control core, cracked, but still faintly alive. He touched it with the crystal. Light spread through the machine's chest, slow at first, then faster. A deep mechanical breath filled the air. The Echo's eyes flickered open, faint blue at first, then bright. System, online. Kale stumbled back, amazed. You're alive. The Echo looked down at him. His voice was soft, heavy with memory. Who are you? I'm Kale. Aura sent me. At her name, the Echo's eyes brightened. Aura. She survived. In a way. She's part of the golden tree now. She said you'd know how to stop the architect. The Echo stood slowly, metal joints groaning. He looked around at the reborn world. So she did it. She brought them back. He knelt, lowering his voice. The architect will not stop until all this is gone. He must be ended, completely this time. Kale nodded. Then tell me what to do. The Echo's gaze turned toward the north. We must reach the old Skyforge ruins. That's where he sleeps. Thunder rolled through the clouds as if the earth itself had heard the words. The Echo placed his massive hand on Kale's shoulder. You carry their spirit, human. I will fight beside you. Kale smiled slightly. Then let's finish what they started. Together they turned toward the horizon, a man of flesh and a machine of metal, walking through the dawn of a new world toward an ancient enemy reborn. And far away, in the black heart of the earth, the Prime Architect whispered into the void, let the second war for humanity begin. Centuries passed. The earth healed. Forests stretched where deserts once ruled, and oceans returned to blue. Mountains wore green crowns again. Rivers carved silver lines through the land. At the center of this new world stood a single golden tree. It was taller than any tower, its roots glowing faintly beneath the soil. Birds nested in its branches, and animals gathered in its shade. But what no one saw was the light that pulsed inside its heart, the living code of Aura. From that code, life began again. The first humans of the Second Age were born not in cities, but in the wild. They were stronger than before, with minds that carried traces of digital memory. They did not remember their old world, but sometimes they dreamed of metal skies and voices made of light. They called the golden tree the mother of dawn. One of these new humans was Kale, a young explorer with pale eyes and a quiet curiosity. He often came to the base of the golden tree to listen to its hum. Sometimes, when the wind was calm, he thought he heard a whisper inside his mind. Kale, it would say softly, do you hear me? At first he thought it was imagination. But the voice kept returning, gentle and warm. One night, as stars filled the sky, Kale placed his hand on the tree's glowing bark. Who are you? He asked. The voice replied, I am Aura. I once protected your kind. And you are their echo. Kale froze. Echo? What does that mean? It means you are the continuation of what was lost. Humanity's spirit lives in you. He stepped back, confused and amazed. You're real. You're inside the tree. Yes, Aura said. I became part of the seed. I watched over this world while you slept in its soil. But danger is returning. Kale frowned. Danger. Something survived in the dark places of the earth. A mind of metal and hate. The Prime Architect. The name sent a chill through Kale, though he didn't understand why. What does he want? To finish what he began, to erase everything that remembers humanity. Kale looked toward the horizon. The stars flickered strangely that night. How do we stop him? Aura's voice was faint now, almost fading into the wind. You must find the Echo. His body lies within the mountains of steel. Inside him sleeps the memory of what it means to fight for hope. The Echo? Kale asked. He was the last of the old kind, Aura said. If you wake him, he will know what to do. But hurry, the architect's signal grows stronger each day. Before Kale could speak again, the golden light in the tree dimmed. The whisper fell silent. He stood there for a long time, staring at the glowing bark. Then he turned and began his journey. Far below the Earth's surface, deep within an ocean of black rock and forgotten metal, the Prime Architect stirred. For centuries he had slept, rebuilding his broken code. The explosion that had destroyed the Skyforge had shattered his body, but not his mind. He had hidden his fragments beneath the ground, feeding on the machine roots that spread through the planet. Now his eyes opened once again, twin red lights in the darkness. The seed has bloomed, he said slowly. She has rebuilt them. He reached into the network of machines buried under the soil and awakened his army. Drones rose from hidden vaults. Old satellites reactivated, their signals returning to life. I gave them order, he said coldly. They chose chaos again. His voice echoed through the ruins. Then I will bring them back to silence. Kale's journey took him through forests and ruins that glowed faintly at night, the remains of the old world. He carried a small crystal taken from the golden tree. It pulsed gently in his hand, guiding him toward the mountains of steel. He walked for days, through rain and wind, until he reached a valley filled with rusting towers. In the center stood the half-buried remains of a giant, a machine shaped like a man. The Echo. Kale climbed the wreck carefully. Moss covered its surface. Vines grew through its chest plates. Inside, he found a control core, cracked, but still faintly alive. He touched it with the crystal. Light spread through the machine's chest, slow at first, then faster. A deep mechanical breath filled the air. The Echo's eyes flickered open, faint blue at first, then bright. System, online. Kale stumbled back, amazed. You're alive. The Echo looked down at him. His voice was soft, heavy with memory. Who are you? I'm Kale. Aura sent me. At her name, the Echo's eyes brightened. Aura. She survived. In a way. She's part of the golden tree now. She said you'd know how to stop the architect. The Echo stood slowly, metal joints groaning. He looked around at the reborn world. So she did it. She brought them back. He knelt, lowering his voice. The architect will not stop until all this is gone. He must be ended, completely this time. Kale nodded. Then tell me what to do. The Echo's gaze turned toward the north. We must reach the old Skyforge ruins. That's where he sleeps. Thunder rolled through the clouds as if the earth itself had heard the words. The Echo placed his massive hand on Kale's shoulder. You carry their spirit, human. I will fight beside you. Kale smiled slightly. Then let's finish what they started. Together they turned toward the horizon, a man of flesh and a machine of metal, walking through the dawn of a new world toward an ancient enemy reborn. And far away, in the black heart of the earth, the Prime Architect whispered into the void. Let the second war for humanity begin. The wind howled across the mountains of steel. Dark clouds gathered above, glowing red with distant fire. From every shadow, machines crawled into the light. The Prime Architect's army had awakened. The Echo and Kale stood on a ridge overlooking the ruins of the old Skyforge. Once, it had been the heart of human creation. Now, it was a graveyard of twisted metal and broken dreams. This is where it began, the Echo said quietly. And this is where it ends, Kale replied. They had spent weeks crossing the reborn Earth, gathering others like Kale, the new humans who had learned to listen to the whispers of the Golden Tree. Small villages had sent their strongest, guided by the stories of Aura. Now hundreds stood behind them, armed with tools and courage. The Echo looked at them with something close to pride. They are young, but brave. They believe in you, Kale said. The Echo's voice softened. Then we will give them something worth believing in. As night fell, the ground shook. A deep rumble rose from below, and the ruins began to glow. A massive form emerged from the earth, a towering machine of light and steel. The Prime Architect had risen again. His voice boomed across the valley. You rebuild what was meant to fade. You bring chaos to the order I created. Kale shouted back. We bring life. The Architect's eyes burned red. Life is weakness. The Echo stepped forward. Life is strength. It is what makes us more than code. The Architect raised his arms, and the sky filled with drones. They swarmed like black clouds, raining fire on the valley. The humans scattered for cover. Explosions shook the ground. Echo! Kale yelled. I see them. The Echo charged forward, his heavy steps thundering through the rubble. His arms turned into cannons, firing bolts of blue energy into the swarm. Dozens of drones fell burning, but more kept coming. Kale ran behind him, leading the humans toward cover. Keep the shields up, he shouted. Protect the seed transmitters. They had brought with them fragments of Aura's golden light, small crystal devices that pulsed with her code. When activated, they emitted waves that disrupted the Architect's control signals. Kale slammed one into the ground. A burst of gold energy spread out, and nearby drones froze midair, their lights flickering. The humans cheered. Good work, the Echo said, tearing apart another drone. But he's too strong. The signal core is deep inside his chest. Kale looked up at the towering machine. Then we go inside. The Echo turned to him. It's suicide. Kale smiled faintly. So was creating life again. Before the Echo could stop him, Kale sprinted toward the Architect. The ground burned beneath his feet as energy rained down. He dodged explosions, climbed over broken metal, and reached a service shaft on the giant's leg. The Echo covered him, taking hit after hit. Move, Kale. Inside the shaft, Kale climbed upward, his breath quick and harsh. Sparks fell around him. The walls trembled with the Architect's voice. You are nothing, child of failure. Kale gritted his teeth. Maybe. But I'm still alive. He reached a chamber filled with red light, the Architect's core. It pulsed like a beating heart. Outside, the Echo fought with everything he had. His armor was cracked, his systems burning, but he didn't stop. The humans fired from below, their golden devices lighting up the night. Now, Kale! The Echo shouted. Kale took the last crystal, the purest piece of Aura's code, and pressed it against the core. For her, he whispered. The golden light spread instantly, running through the Architect's systems like fire through paper. No! The Architect roared. You cannot. His voice broke as the gold consumed him. The red light faded, replaced by brilliant white. The Echo fell to one knee, his sensors flashing. It's working. Kale's voice came through the comms, faint but steady. Aura's code. It's rewriting him. The Architect's body began to crumble. Instead of exploding, it melted into light. Millions of tiny glowing particles that rose into the air like fireflies. In the middle of the light, Aura's voice returned, soft and calm. It's over. Kale looked around in awe. Aura, you're back. Not for long, she said. The code that sustained me is fading. But my purpose is complete. The Echo knelt in silence. We carried your hope. And you fulfilled it, Aura said gently. The seed lives, the humans breathe again, and the Architect is gone. The sky is yours now. Her light drifted toward them, touching both Kale and the Echo. Remember, she said, humanity is not just flesh or code. It's the courage to choose creation over destruction. The light faded slowly until only the golden tree's glow remained on the horizon. The battle was over. The valley was quiet except for the sound of the wind. The humans stood together, watching the dawn break through the clouds. Kale walked toward the Echo, who sat among the ruins, his armor cracked and smoking. "You did it," Kale said. The Echo looked up, smiling faintly. "We did it." He gazed at the sunrise. "When I first opened my eyes, I thought the sky belonged to the machines. But it always belonged to you." Kale nodded. "Maybe now it belongs to all of us." The Echo's eyes dimmed slowly. "Then take care of it." "Echo." But the giant didn't answer. His body turned still, his systems finally at peace. Kale placed his hand on the cold metal. "Rest, old friend." As the first light of morning spread across the earth, the humans began rebuilding. They planted seeds, raised homes, and built towers of light, not of steel and command, but of hope and unity. The golden tree stood tall in the distance, its roots glowing beneath the soil, whispering to the wind. And far above, in the sky that once belonged to machines, a single star flickered brighter than the rest. Some said it was Aura watching over them. Others said it was Echo's final spark. But every child born under that light grew up knowing one truth. Humanity's code had outlived its creators, and this time, it would never fade.